Hello, and good morning. Welcome to the Going Executive Director Show. My name is Brandy, and this is Jeff. Our purpose is to bring you the skills, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and daily activities needed for you to build a solid, profitable business. Now remember, this is our team's philosophy, and we will be talking about specifics here as well as the company that we're in. Hello, good morning. So anywho, we will be talking about specifics. If you're waiting for our generic show, that starts at noon. So if you would like to jump on that, that's when that starts. But you are welcome to listen in here because you might be able to get something of use that could help you with your business as well. So today we are on, first off, we've been going over John Maxwell's indispensable qualities of a leader. And today we are on self-discipline. So I'm going to relate this to what Jeff and I do, which is we like to eat 80% of the, I'm going to relate this to health because how you do anything is how you're going to do everything. And Jeff and I like to make it a point to eat healthy and to go to the gym every day. Now, that's 80-20. 80% of the time we eat really, really well. As in, like, we're eating healthy, we're keeping up with protein, our vegetables, and all the nutrients that we need. Because, you know, when you're running a business and you're on the go all the time, it's very easy to give into any, like, good stuff. Like when we're at the Cheesecake Factory. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I did something. There we go. So it's very easy to give in when you're on the go and you're constantly out and meeting with people. So we make it a point to, even when we're eating out, to eat only specific things to make sure that we stay on track and to keep ourselves healthy. Because, you know, if you're not feeling that great, also it helps with your energy too. So we feel like it's our duty to do that for our team as well as for ourselves. And we go to the gym every day. So we want to be able to keep up our physical fitness and to look good because, you know, we are in an attraction business, so we like to look good as well. So with that, yeah, so it's 80-20. 80% of the time you want to do really, really well with the eating, and then the other 20% of the time we're getting cheesecake. So you are allowed to have some fun every once in a while. But when you're doing this, we get comments all the time like, oh my God, we're always seeing you at the gym at 3 a.m. And we're like, yes. Now, the reason we go so late is we run on a later schedule. Also, during the day, that's our time to run our business and to work with clients and with other people on our team. Because we also have a holistic health business as well out besides Legal Shield. So during the day, that's our time to work with the team and make our money. And then after 9 p.m., that's our time to go do everything else. So using our time wisely. But we've been, Jeff, how long have you had your lifetime card for the gym?
2001 or 2002.
So 2001 or 2002, that is a long time, guys. Considering most people get a gym membership and maybe go once or twice and then they quit after a few days. So with that, I am going to have Jeff take over and give us our lesson on self-discipline today.
Okay, what's happening, Jerry? What is going on? So today, self-discipline, what we're talking about is the 21 qualities of a leader, and in that, every day we go over one of these qualities, and these are the qualities you need to have to be able to attract a big team, to be able to run a business. Some of these you're going to have, some of these you're not going to have. Some of these you're going to need to work on different levels. Max is with us. What's up, sir? So, self-discipline. It says the first and the best victory is to conquer thyself. That was Plato that said that. Max, what's going on? How's the gym workouts going? It says a man without decision of character can never be said to belong to himself. He belongs to whatever can make him captive. Basically saying if you can't discipline yourself, someone else will or something else will. Lori's with us. What's happening? So, John has a couple things here to note. It says, if you want to become a leader for whom self-discipline is an asset, follow these action points. Number one, is develop and follow your priorities. So if you develop a priority list, if this is what absolutely positively has to get done, needs to get done, what you want to do is you want that list out and you want to accomplish that list daily. It's a DMO, daily method of operation. If you're not getting the things done you need to get done, then you're not very self-disciplined, are you? Also, do the thing you like the least first. Do the thing you like the least first. There's this complete bullshit saying out there that you're supposed to love everything you do. And that is horse crap. The reason they sell that is because it's really easy to sell books and it's really easy to sell seminars when you tell people up front you're supposed to love everything you do, because everybody is going to dislike something. So everybody goes to that seminar and is like, see, that's what's supposed to happen. I'm just supposed to love everything. Not true. Sorry, that's not how it works. 2, it says, make a disciplined lifestyle your goal. So if you make your entire life a disciplined lifestyle, is doing the things you need to do that will accomplish and help you accomplish 80% of what you need to get done, things are going to work out a whole lot better for you. This is where, a good friend of mine said, you have to think right to act right to feel right. You have to think right to act right to feel right. And if you do that out of order, meaning you feel first, you act second, and you think last, that's basically a plan for disaster. You will be in a disastrous life with things consistently going wrong, with living life based on circumstances is basically what most people do. They wait until something happens. They're like, oh, I feel really bad about this, so that way I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm going to eat ice cream instead of doing what I need to do. And then they don't get their work done, and they now have, a self-esteem issue from not doing it, and, you're gaining weight because you're eating ice cream or, whatever the hell else people eat nowadays. So it leads to a life of disaster. So that's why you want to discipline yourself to the point where you're doing the things you need to do. There's only a few things that you need to do consistently, and life works a whole lot easier, but people always fail to look at the easy stuff. And, it's usually the little stuff that gets you, not the big stuff. Normally an elephant doesn't run through the middle of your house and tear it up. But, if you let ants go too long, you're going to have a major, major problem. So a lot of times it's the little things in life. 3, it says, challenge your excuses. Everybody has them. Everybody's, well, I'm tired. Well, I'm this. Well, I'm that. Again, typically what I found is people use that feeling thing to basically stop them from doing what they need to do. Well, I didn't feel, I came home and I felt tired. I came home and I felt sad. I came home and I felt this and I felt that. Well, the problem is the more you're feeling these different things, the less you're getting done. If you haven't put 2 and 2 together, that leads to disaster. So what I found is when you go out and you do the things you should do, all of a sudden you feel better. And in almost every case, if you think first, hey, what needs to get done? What's the smartest thing to get done? Then you go out and actually act and do it. Usually you feel pretty good. You're like, well, I'm doing what a lot of people wouldn't do, and now I feel much better about myself and about what's going on, because there's so few people who do this. It's so easy to succeed. It's so easy to succeed when you understand this, knowing that most people live their life based on feeling first and thinking last. And it's funny that people will turn around and tell their kids, not to do this, but they'll do it themselves. 4, remove rewards until the job's done. So what I was taught is to give yourself incremental rewards along the way for disciplining yourself, meaning, every week, if you eat right 6 days a week, day 7, go do something. If you work out 6 days a week, day 7, go take a day off, go walk outside, go, to the movies, go do whatever you're going to do recreationally, but give yourself the reward. You have to give yourself a reward on a regular basis to know that it's worth it to play the game of life, to have everything, or at least feel like you have everything. Because if it's just discipline, that's really not any fun anymore either. You're like, well, what kind of life is that going to give? And especially inside of network marketing, direct sales, I ask people all the time, I look at situations and I said, okay, but is that attractive to the outside? That's great that you're self-disciplined, but in the way that you're doing it, is it attractive to the outside world? Is it attractive to the people around you? Because if what you're doing is not attractive to everybody, you're in an attraction business, that's a problem. You want to bring people on board. Now, sitting around and eating ice cream every day, obviously that's not probably going to work out real well either. Although, that might be attractive to some people. In the end, what is it going to do? So 5, it says stay focused on the results. I say stay focused on the activities, the right activities. If you don't stay focused on the right activities and track them, bonjour, James, what's happening? So if you don't stay focused on the activities that you're supposed to and you don't record them, it'll be very hard to get any rewards. What most people do is they lie to themselves and they trick themselves into thinking that they're doing well, and then they'll pull this one. Well, they'll justify. But, because of this situation, I was able to take this week off. Because of this situation, I was able to take this month off. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, because of that situation, I took 5 years off or 10 years off. And then what are you going to do? Life is over or beginning to be over at that point. Now some people feel so bad. So the faster you get on some of this stuff and get it on track, the better. How does it relate to the business? How does it relate directly to building a Legal Shield business? I mean, it's pretty simple. What are the self-disciplines that will take you to the top? Well, number 1 is personal development. Are you doing it? I've got my book over here that I'm finishing out. I'll probably have that finished, if not today, by the end of the weekend. That is Leader Shift. That was John Maxwell's newest book that I was able to pick up. And then I know he's coming out with another one in like June or July, so we'll go ahead and put that up on the list of things to do. Also, you got to discipline yourself to make the contacts you need to make. You have to discipline yourself to actually do the presentations if you're not doing them. And here's the thing. The only person you're fooling is yourself. You're not fooling anybody else. We know what your excuses are already. Most of the time, especially in a leadership position, you don't get to a leadership position without understanding the excuses because you had most of them, meaning myself. I had most of these. So when somebody comes up and they're giving me the reasons, I know what the real reasons are, but most of the time I just wait around for people to actually finally tell me, hey, look, I've finally gotten to the point where I actually realize what the real reasons are. And until then, before I used to try to point them out and help them, and now I realize that's not my job. It's too stressful. What I do is I just like people and I just encourage them until they figure their own shit out. I mean, basically that's how I do it. So if you're wondering, well, why didn't he point that out to me? You weren't ready. Until you're able to point it out for yourself, you're not ready. You don't need somebody else to point it out for you, because what that'll do is drive division into you, into the team. So if you're doing that for your own team, the best thing you can do is not talk to them. I mean, really not talk to them at all. Because if you have your own excuses and you're not doing the work, you have no business training anybody.
Also, half of what your team's going to do, half of what you're doing. So if you're not doing enough, your team's not going to do it either, because they're following you.
Or at least they're watching you. Let's put it this way: they may not be watching you, but they're following you. So this was a hard lesson to learn. It took me a long time. So it says, to improve your self-discipline, do the following. First of all, sort out your priorities. You got to make a list. He says, list the reasons why you want to get this done. So this is like your dreams list. Hey, the dreams are everything I do want. The goals are the time frame that I want some of this stuff. Your priorities and your reasons are, I was taught by David Bird that you want to list 2 things. You want to list basically the good things that you're going to get, the good things you're going to get by doing these things, and then what you also want to list is the bad things that are going to happen if you don't do these things. Because what I found is more people are usually motivated by what's going to happen if they don't do it than necessarily what's going to happen if they do get it. Because a lot of people can make excuses and be like, well, I really didn't, I know I wanted the new car, but this Honda that's broken down that has 3 different tires is just fine. I know I wanted to move to the really nice neighborhood, but this house I'm in, it has only gotten broken into twice, so it's not that bad, and they'll start justifying everything if it's for them. But when you start realizing all the other people you affect, that's where it gets really difficult. Get rid of the excuses. How do you get rid of the excuses? First of all, you have to sit down and, have that talk. Usually, that talk isn't going to happen just with you. It's going to happen with somebody up the chain of command that you like, that you respect, and be like, look, I know I'm not. Finally, when you're like, look, I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been avoiding this for a long, long time. And now it's time to make something happen. Just made an appointment on Memorial Day. Awesome. So, with that, self-discipline, it's not something that's sexy. It's not something that most people want to do. But here's the thing, if you want people to follow you, if you want people to join you, the more self-discipline you have, usually the easier it is to get people to follow you. Why? Because they know you're going to do it even when times are bad. They know you're going to do it even when it rains. They're going to know you're going to do it even when there's a disaster. They know you're going to do it even when circumstances come up. They know you're going to be online doing what you're supposed to be doing regardless. It's much easier to follow a person like that. They know that you're going to show up to the events even if everything goes wrong. If the weather comes, they're going to be there. If there's an accident along the way, they're going to Uber there. If, the world's going to end tomorrow, they're at least going to get their meeting done first. So it's easy to follow people like that. Some of the times, the reason why it's so hard for the rest of us, and the reason why it was so hard to get people to come out to events when I first got involved, is because I was playing the was it convenient for me? Was it convenient to go to the meeting tonight? If it was convenient and it was sunny and everything and I didn't have anything else to do and my TV show wasn't on, man, I'd go to the meeting just for something to do. But when it becomes a business, I was there all the time. When it became I wanted to make money, I was there all the time. I was committed. Up until then, it was based on circumstance. Like, well, did I feel good? Was it, it's funny that people will go to work with 102-degree temperature. People will go to work throwing up. People will go to work when they can't see straight. And they'll justify it and be like, well, I don't want to get fired. I don't want this to happen. Don't want this to happen. But they'll sneeze once and be like, oh my gosh, I can't go to the meeting tonight because, I'm just tired and I'm not going to feel good. If you look at the two, it only takes like a 2% margin of uncomfortability for them to skip out on the meeting that's going to eventually lead to them not having to go to work. And you talk about slavery, you talk about real slavery of the mind. If you're convinced to go to work for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, if you're convinced to go to work even when you're sick, but you won't show up to the meeting when, you feel a little tired, they've got you. They've got you. They've got you. Think about this. They've got you showing up your entire life to a job, showing up your entire life, even when you're sick, even when things go bad, even when things go awry. Jeff's with us. What's up, sir? If they have you doing that, man, they've got you bad. I mean, some people is like, I'm surprised at how, and these are people that will speak out against injustice. And I'm like, nobody's hooked more than you, But what do? You just set the example. You just set the example. You help as many people out as possible. The Matrix was not necessarily a movie. The Matrix necessarily wasn't a movie as much as it was a documentary. Your job is just to help the people out. Not everybody's going to get it. Most people who are tied into it the most will fight you the most on getting out, which is hysterical to me. I mean, I've been out of that scenario long enough where it's actually comical to me now, but I feel sad. I used to think, well, when I get there, I'm going to climb to the top of the building and tell everybody to run. Now it's just, I'm just like, I'll help the ones that want to get out. And that's our job. My job is to help the ones that want to get out. The people who want to stay, there's not much I can do. 40 years of watching TV, 40 years of listening to the experts, 40 years of listening to the authorities. Some people are so hooked in, there's nothing I can say, nothing I can do to get them out. So you have to be very self-disciplined to unplug from some of this stuff. If you're home watching TV every night, I just ask people. I mean, I kind of gauge my conversations and I gauge my relationships by how much TV people watch. I know how hooked in they are based on what they're watching. I'm like, oh, you watch the news every morning and every night? Yeah, you're probably, you have a 1% chance of making it. Maybe. As soon as you start turning that stuff off, your chances of making it go up because somebody's not consistently feeding stuff into your head to keep you. And remember, that stuff is to keep you where you're at. It's not to help you succeed. Once you start learning some of the personal development stuff and you start watching and you start really listening to what they're saying, like I unplugged from TV for long enough that when I turned it back on, I heard it it's kind of like you hear it for the first time. I was like, man, they're really talking to you like you're stupid. And most people are drones just shaking their head going, yep, Yeah, I should be mad at that. Yeah, I shouldn't like that. I shouldn't like this. And I'm not talking even politics side. I'm talking about just like in general, sheep follow this plan. And everybody's like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And you'll hear people repeat and talk about whatever they're asking you to talk about. I mean, that's what's funny. That's how I know. That's how I know. If a group of people are sitting around, what do you guys talk? Oh, didn't you hear? I was like, oh, okay, programmed. You know, you guys are following. I mean, you talk about right to the slaughterhouse. Here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna use every ounce of power you have and suck it out of you until there's nothing left, and then they're gonna talk to you about your golden years. I mean, it's scary. Like when you really look at the system, you were a pawn that they put into the system that's running down the track, and their goal is to keep you in that place as long as possible to suck as much of the power out of you as possible. They want all the productivity. By the way, if you don't know this, in a job situation, if they're paying you $10 an hour in general, in most business scenarios in general, if they're paying you $10 an hour, they're making 9 times off of you whatever they're paying you. So that means take whatever your hourly is, multiply it by 9, and that's actually what the company or business or entity running that whoever's paying you, that's what they're making off of you. So if you make $10 an hour, they're actually making $90 an hour for the effort that you're giving them. That gives them, 30% to pay in taxes, 30% to, for operational costs, and about 20% profit in most cases. In most cases, 20% profit. So they're actually earning money 2 to 3 times off of you what you're actually producing. That's why they want so many of you. Because let's face it, couldn't we do it in another way? Yeah, I mean, now with the internet. And I tell this to people in trucking, and I tell this to people in education. I'm like, look at what's going on. Look at certain industries collapsing. The trucking industry is trying to stop Tesla and stop the government and stop, they're trying to lobby, they're trying to do all this stuff, and they're trying to stop technology from taking over because these big trucks can now drive themselves. The warehouse can now pack all the boxes more efficiently than a person, in less time, with zero insurance, with zero claims. All you need is a mechanic to fix the stupid robot. They can pick up more, faster, and pack it with precision. They don't need you. They don't need you. The truck can drive itself. Get this one. Now with the internet, why not hire one teacher, the best teacher in the nation, to teach that class to all the universities? You don't think schools are thinking of this? Imagine if a college was able to eliminate 90% of the staff. How much more profitable it would be. No salaries, no insurance, no benefits, no retirement that they have to pay into. They're able to eliminate all of it. One teacher teaching everybody. They just need one. And for multiple campuses. Now they can go online, and now it becomes a marketing game of who can get your attention. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening right now. The industries, the whole system is going to turn, and if you don't understand what's going on, you're going to be sitting there like this. Like, what happened? It was right in front of you. You're watching it happen. It's just like when horses went out and cars came in. 99% of people are like, horses have been around forever. That's what people sit around and talk about. Horses have been around forever. I love what Gary Vaynerchuk says. He goes, there was a guy that the day the assembly line was created for Ford, there was a guy that invested $10,000 in horses. He bought 10,000 horses because they weren't that much back then. And Gary made a good point. He's like, he lost. It all collapsed. And it's coming. And we're watching it happen. When you see that cool shit on Facebook where the truck's driving down the road by itself and the taxi's driving, think about it. The taxis went to Uber, and now they're going to have cars that drive themselves. You're telling me that Tesla isn't already thinking, well, we could get rid of all the people and just set out all the cars. And then people could just get in the cars and eliminate the people completely. You don't think that's coming? Here's another one that a lot of people are like, this is really, really scary. my son's varsity does that when he mentioned 3 years ago. Thought is over here, and that's Shamala in South Africa, talking about what's going on. And typically, we see stuff happening in other countries. They're able to adopt it faster. Like if you live in a bigger country, if you lived in a China or in India, or you live in the United States, because the population's so much bigger and it's spread out more, it's harder to get things to move quickly. So what they'll do is they'll adopt these things in smaller countries first to kind of get them up and running. And then once they're running right, then they bring them in and just wipe stuff out. So it's coming. The other one that I want to tell you about is in Japan, they've actually built a robot that can cook a meal with a 98% accuracy. In 200 meals, it has a 98% exactly to the letter margin of error. Margin of error is 2%. 2% on 200 meals. So out of all of the meals that it makes, out of 200 meals it makes, 4 meals aren't exactly the same, like to a T. That robot costs $2,200. Take that against what a normal cook would make. By the way, if you're in a restaurant, usually the thing that backs stuff up is not the waitress. It's actually the cook's ability to get all the food. You might have 2 robots that can do the work of 8 people. So by the way, the most likely person, and this is just kind of food for thought if you ever are on Jeopardy or whatever, the most likely person to have a gun inside of a restaurant is a cook. Now the reason why is because the most likely person that has a record is probably a cook. That it's weird that that's the way it works. I don't know. I learned that from somebody who basically told me that because they were in that situation. And they were telling me that, you know, a lot of the cooks, so they're eliminating a position that a lot of people have that can't go get another job somewhere else because of their background, because of their record. What are all those people going to go do? I mean, think about this. If I were you and you have kids or grandkids or whatever, take this note down. Tell your kids to go into robotics. Tell your kids to go into programming, because all of those things that they're building are all going to take someone technical to fix. See, we went from being 100% hands-on and everything being basically a trade to having technology take over, and all of the trade stuff went away, and now it was all managing all the people that we put in place, and now it's going to go the opposite route again. Now it's going to go the opposite route. It's going to be the robotics people, and it's going to be the technicians, and it's going to be the programmers who are going to make the most money and be able to demand, because there's going to be so many of these damn robots and all this technology that's coming out that you're going to have to run around and learn how to fix all of that. There's really not, I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of management to that. You know, if you're going out for a management degree, you might want to throw that shit away, because there's not going to be enough of it around. You're going to want to basically make sure that these people have the skill to actually keep eating and making money. You know, fixing cars, fixing robots, fixing that stuff. Anybody that's into fixing stuff, any kid that's playing with Legos right now, you'd be like, keep doing that. Keep doing that. Let me show you how to put it all together and network it with electronics. You know, hey, maybe we want to put some lights on that. You know, teach kids the basic physics.
Or if your kid's taking apart the alarm clock like we used to do.
Yeah, if they're taking apart the alarm clock or taking apart the Blu-ray DVD player, you're like, that's what I want to see. Now put it back together. Yeah. Let me take you to a garage sale and get you the old one. So that's just, I was having a conversation with somebody, and another person overheard me, and I saw them actually writing, and the lady's like, thank you so much. She's like, I've got grandkids right now, and they were just asking me, hey, Grandma, what do you think I should go into? She goes, I gave them the wrong advice. She's like, I know now I gave them the wrong advice. So that's hopefully some food for thought. I hope that helps out. Monday, we're going to go over servanthood. That's law number 19. We're going to wrap up this book this next week. We're going to end the month next week. So I hope this helped out. Appreciate all you guys for jumping on, and we'll see you on the next show, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.